It's time for my top 5 movies from 2018. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one today. I'm the Movie Ranker, and today I'm ranking, not really ranking, I'm doing a top 5 for you guys today, and it's for 2018. Pretty great year for film, but there was still some pretty shitty ones out there as well. I've seen 73 movies from 2018, quite a bit. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. I have done top fives all the way up to 2023 if you're interested in checking those out. And let's get right on with this list. So for me, coming in at number 5, I'm gonna go with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. What a breath of fresh air this movie was when it released. It's an animated Sony Spider-Man film, and it is pretty incredible. I remember the first time watching this being like, the animation in this just pops. You know, it was really fresh and unique. Not something we see in regular animated movies. You can tell they put a lot of work into here. It has a unique type of animation where there's like dots in that fill in colors to make people's faces and whatnot. Very cool. Plus the whole comic book aesthetic to everything is also great. They do an amazing job at that. On top of that, we got Miles Morales in here, a different character that becomes Spider-Man. So while this is an origin story and we've seen it a few times before, this one was fresh because it was a different character with a different background. You know, this one has he has a mixed family, you know, part black, part Latino. So that's very interesting. And yeah, I just really enjoyed following this character and learning about him since I never really knew about Miles Morales before this film came out. He did have comic books and whatnot, but I just wasn't familiar with the character, and they did a great job setting him up in this film, as well as all the other characters. Everybody is popping in this film, whether we're talking about Gwen, all the other Spider-Man, Spider-Ham, and the detective and all of them. They're all great. Or even Peter Parker, Peter B. Parker, who is this more older, out of shape Spider-Man who, you know, is kind of going through a midlife crisis, and, you know, his relationship and stuff didn't quite work out as we had hoped. All that is super interesting, and then you add in the Super Collider, which creates basically like a multiverse scenario. Nowadays, multiverse seems kind of, you know, overdone at this point, but in 2018, it was very fresh. So yeah, I just really enjoyed this film from start to finish. It just flies by. It's definitely a breath of fresh air when it comes to the Spider-Man franchise. And I think the sequel did even better, but this is a great entry. I also want to add that the soundtrack's really cool to this one too. We get some rap, some hip hop, some pop, a little bit of techno in there, a good variety, and again, it's just the type of soundtrack you don't expect in a movie like this. So, phenomenal Spider-Man film. Coming up next at number 4, I'm going with Mission Impossible Fallout. This is the franchise that just keeps on giving. Every time they release a new movie, it seems like the quality just keeps getting better and better and better, which is not the usual when it comes to franchises, especially when you're 7 movies deep. Number 7, Dead Reckoning, and this one kind of go hand in hand for me. They're both friggin' amazing. Definitely my 2 top picks. Fallout might get the slight edge though. I just really like the story to this one. How Ethan has to pretend to be John Lark, you know, and working with the bad guys. How he teams up with Henry Cavill's character, which ends up being the real John Lark. Great little twist there. We get some great fighting scenes. The bathroom scenes, a real standout. Great hand-to-hand combat and choreography in there, as well as the whole helicopter chase right up to the finale. It's just very intense, very fun to watch. And they're going against the clock in this film. Every minute matters, so you feel that pressure on Ethan. It's just another great entry in this action-packed franchise. Coming up next at number 3, I'm going with the movie Upgrade. Another unique, original film. I just love this one. It's very overlooked in my opinion. So good. It's like a sci-fi thriller action movie with some violence that are, going into almost horror territory when he's fighting and like breaking people's arms and cutting them up and stuff. It's intense, it's brutal, but I love it. About this dude seeking revenge after his wife gets killed and he gets paralyzed after his car gets wrecked and these thugs shoot them. So he gets an AI called STEM implanted into him, which causes him to be able to walk around and move and almost have superhuman abilities at this point. And it's just really unique because him and the AI kind of talk to each other in his head. And the AI can make him fight real crazy and everything. So it makes this revenge tale so much better. Him going after these thugs that did this to him. And I don't want to give away any spoilers, but once you find out why these thugs did what they did and everybody's intentions, it's super interesting. A lot of twists in there. STEM, the AI that's in him, slowly starts to, seem a little off and not as good as his intentions seemed from the start. And all this, the way it plays out in the end, is just super fascinating. And I really wish we could get a sequel to this thing. But as a standalone film, it really is amazing. Like I said earlier, the action and the violence in here is really intense. Like it's not what you expect. And I love how the main character Gray, how he's not in control when the AI takes over, STEM takes over fighting, and you can see in his face like that he doesn't want to be doing what he's doing, and it's just so fun. A very engaging, thrilling story with lots of great action. Definitely one you should check out if you haven't seen it. And it's directed by Lee Winnell, um, dude from Saw, the first Saw movie, laying on the floor. He also directed The Invisible Man, so I can't wait for him to direct more movies like this. Up next at number 2, I got Ready Player One. Damn, another overlooked film in my opinion. I thought this was friggin' amazing. I remember being super hyped from the trailers, and I got exactly what I wanted when I watched the movie. It's just such a thrill ride. Another kind of multiverse movie, a little bit, mixing in all sorts of different franchises in a really unique way while dealing with like VR, virtual reality. I just really like the whole world building and setup of this one. How, you know, if you win in the game and collect all these the fake money, you actually have a reputation in real life. It seems like it matters more in the game than in real life. And of course, the creator dies and leaves these Easter eggs and that to solve in the game, in the VR world. And if you solve it, you control the world. You'll own it after that. Oasis, I believe it's called. And such a juicy concept. So you got all these challenges the characters are trying to do and beat before the enemies and the bad guys get there. I just love all the little cameos and characters we see from different films, mostly throughout the 80s and 90s. We get my boy Jason in there. We got Chucky for our horror fans. We got the Iron Giant. There's just so many to name. Freaking everything from Master Chief from Halo to Goro from Mortal Kombat. It is awesome. And it's just so cool to see all these characters and that interact with each other. Very cool. And it makes you want to uh, play this game, this VR game, the Oasis. So it does its job there. It really gets you engaged and just wanting to put yourself in the shoes of these characters. And I always like the treadmill thing that they're on when they're playing. And in the real world, they're actually coming out with stuff like that now, which is super interesting. Another thing I want to add is the whole Shining scene. I mean, that is just anybody who's a fan of The Shining, I'm sure would fall in love with this section of the movie. First time I seen it, it was just mind blowing to me, and it's really well done. Just a really entertaining flick by Steven Spielberg too, and he does a great job directing this. It's not your usual Spielberg movie because there's a lot of obviously CGI and that going on, but it's all done to when in good taste. It's not one of those movies that needs to have the practical effects because it's such a big world and whatnot. So it kind of works in this genre here. But yeah, definitely a great flick. Like I said, I feel like it's a little overlooked, but definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. It's amazing. Before I get to my number 1, here's a few honorable mentions. The Domestics, A Quiet Place, Overlord, But for me, easily coming in the first place for 2018 is Avengers Infinity War. Not only my favorite MCU movie, but one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. It's just, this is it. This is what we were waiting for. We've gotten so many movies before this, from Iron Man leading up to this point, and they were all putting the pieces together to get to this big epic finale of a movie. Well, this and Endgame together. But yeah, this one is just so good. Every scene is important. Every scene is either funny, action packed, emotional. You know, there's never a dull moment throughout this film, and it's almost 3 hours long, and you do not feel the runtime at all. It's friggin' really amazing when it comes to the pacing. And it's just cool to see all these characters work together. It's more than just your 5 Avengers. This is like 100 of them, it feels like. And by the end, when Thanos does the snap and half of them disappear, you're really in shock. Even though you kind of see it coming, it's still, the way it's done in a very emotional way that really packs a punch, I feel. And Thanos himself, he's a great friggin' villain. He the friggin' train's going by. Hopefully you don't hear that too loud. But yeah, Thanos is a great villain. I love his motives. He is bad, but he has good reasonings for doing what he's doing, because he's seen his world go to waste, and you know, all of his people die. And so he figures if he gets rid of half the universe, you know, it would solve a lot of these problems. And to me, this is just the perfect movie. It's so damn good. I must have seen it like 15 times since it came out already. And it's even better than Endgame in my opinion, because the pacing and the action is just so damn good. It always has you at the edge of your seat, especially that big end battle when we're in Wakanda. It's friggin' epic. So for me, Avengers Infinity War has to come in the first place. It's that good. So there you have it, guys. There's my top 5 movies from 2018. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to drop your favorite movies from the year, and let me know even the worst movies from the year. We'll have a great discussion in the comment section about it. I'm going to be putting out more of these top 5s in the next coming weeks. I'm going to try to get through at least the 2010s, so stay tuned for that. Also, we have the Treasure Hunters ranking coming out June 14th now. It was delayed. It's supposed to be at the end of May, but that is still coming, so stay tuned for that as well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future content. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching.